lot of us, when we start working, we get access to a 401k plan that our employer provides. And we get to thinking, well, I have this 401k. Do I need an IRA by all means? And the simple answer to that is yes. But let's talk about why that is. And there's two main reasons. One is control, and the second one is risk. Let's get right into it, all right? What's going on, people? It's your boy Kalechi back with another video. If you enjoy anything that we talk about on this video, hit that like button. If you love it, hit that subscribe button. But let's get right into it. The reason number one of why you still need to open up a Roth IRA specifically is because of control. You see, your 401k is developed and designed by your employer, which means it's usually contracted out to a firm to handle all of those things. And so if your employer chooses a firm that doesn't necessarily care about being a fiduciary, which means that they put the needs of the customer before their needs, they can be ripping you off in so many different ways. So much so that recently we had a Supreme Court hearing and a Supreme Court case to ensure that employees get the chance to sue their employers if their employers chooses a firm that doesn't put the employees first. Because sometimes the deals that employers get with some of these investment firms where the employer doesn't have to put up so much money, and so the employees are the ones that have to cover that cost, which means that a lot of your investment options are going to have high cost, a lot of fees on your plans. And so now the Supreme Court was like, yo, we don't like hearing a lot of these news about employees getting ripped off by these investment options that are being provided by their 401ks from their employers. And so therefore, the Supreme Court had that ruling where an employee can say, yo, because of the investment options you gave me, I lost money. So therefore, we are going to sue the company, and they're allowing people to sue the company to get their money back. And so that's something important for you to keep in mind because you don't have any control about the investment options. Now, if you have a good provider like the Fidelities or Vanguard or Charles Schwab or Merrill Lynch or BlackRock or any of these things, then you're going to get a plethora of options where you can pick low cost index funds in order for you to invest for the long run. And of course, I'm never going to look down on a 401k because free money is free money. However, you have to understand that with a 401k, you are not in control. You do not decide how that thing is going to run over the long run. If your employer decides for some reason, maybe he gets talked to, the CEO comes down and talks to the CFO that, hey, I met this good investment banker dude that wants access to our 401ks so that they can invest in private equity or they can invest in venture capital. They can invest in these risky things where people can lose a bunch of money. And he says yes, it means that your 401k automatically gets switched, and then you're like, SOL. If that thing goes bust. We've seen it multiple times with pension plans, and the same thing can happen with a 401k, which is why I'm glad about that Supreme Court hearing so that we don't have those kind of situations. It forces employers to they themselves to make sure that they are providing the best solutions for their employees rather than their employees just getting baked into anything. And then the second reason why you still need a Roth IRA is simply risk. Simply risk. We don't know what could happen in the future. And so it's good for you to spread your risk across different platforms. If your employer goes broke, guess what? You can transfer all of that money in your 401k into an IRA, and your IRA gives you so much more flexibility. It gives you so much more potential of what you should choose to invest in and what you can't choose to invest in or what you don't want to invest in. You get to decide what you do with your IRA. You get to decide what your IRA is invested in and what it's not invested in, what your IRA looks like and what it doesn't look like. The main reason that I point this out when I talk about risk is sometimes there is a potential of things just going haywire as we grow our portfolios larger and larger and larger. It's just like a bank account. When you have a bank account, it gets insured up to a certain limit. And I believe it's about $250,000 in your bank account that it gets insured up to. And then after that, you on your own. And so the main thing is you want to spread that risk in different portfolios. You want that risk to be spread out in different places. So that way, if anything happens, at the very least, the FDIC can come out, or I think it's the SPIC. I forget what that sounds for, but they can come out and they can protect you and say, hey, we understand that you lost a bunch of money because this thing went bust. We can give you that money back. So that way you're reducing your risk, just like when we invest in diversifying our funds and diversifying it with index funds, you do the same thing when it comes to your 401k, because eventually, I'm just going to say it, every single person on here is going to be a millionaire. And so we have to learn how to diversify our risk. We have to learn how to make sure that whatever we're selecting is not just like we're just all in on our employer's 401k. No, you also need that IRA. But anyway, that's all I got for y'all in this video. I hope y'all learned one, maybe two things out of this entire thing. And if you did, hit that like button. If you loved it, hit that subscribe button. But I'm gonna catch y'all up on the next one. Remember, generosity is always greater than greed. God bless each and every single one of y'all, and I'm out. Peace.